everybody, it's Mike with Neck on Tech. Today we've got a review of the XGIMI Elfin Mini Projector, what I'm calling the best bedroom projector, which I know sounds kind of sensual, but I'll explain. Here it is, the XGIMI Elfin. As you can see, it is quite compact, very sleek in the bright white with black accents. It's a device that was released way back in the summer of 2021 with a retail tag of $649. So why am I reviewing it now in 2024? Because many online retailers, including XGIMI's website, have been doing flash sales on the device, and it is down to $499. And at that price, I think it's a hell of a bargain, especially if it's going to be your secondary viewing option. Clearly, I am no stranger to televisions in my home, but something about the big screen projector experience in the bedroom was very appealing, which is why I was seeking to replace my old projector, in this case another XGIMI, the Z4 Aurora, which had an amazing 7-year run of near and nightly usage with me, but very recently had some significant lamp fade, and it was time to move on. A bedroom projector is not something I want to spend $1,000 on, but I also want it to perform well and look all right in the bedroom, so ruling out dozens of micro off-brand projectors that you can pick up on Amazon for a few $100. I started comparing brands like Anker, their Nebula series, the Epson Epics, and then several of the XGIMI variants like the Mogo 2 and the Elfin, since I'd already had a good experience with the brand. What I found is that most projectors in this class are either not powerful enough or just flat out too expensive. And while many of you who are in the market for a mini projector are maybe looking for something that you can charge up and run off an internal battery in your backyard or on the roof of your apartment building, portability was not a high priority for me since it's just going to be planted in my bedroom. That's what brought me back to the Elfin. It's got plenty of power, an understated look, and even at full retail price, I think it's still a pretty good value. Let's talk specs. As we said up front, it's pretty svelte, coming in at roughly 7.5 inches on each side and just under 2 inches thick, and it weighs only a few pounds. It runs Android 10 natively at 1080p, but very importantly, it does support 4K input via HDMI, which is key because most of us are going to hook up a Roku or Apple TV or a gaming console that's going to be capable of 4K, and you want that in a projector. The question on everyone's mind when it comes to projectors, lumens. You gotta have those lumens because if you're watching in anything other than a pitch black room, the lamp's gotta be bright enough to support it. The Elfin is packing 600 ISO lumens, and we'll cover that more in a bit, but I have found it to be more than adequate in different lighting conditions. It has built-in Harman Kardon speakers, 6 watts total, and features Dolby digital audio. More on that in a bit as well. It has a 1.2 to 1 throw ratio and boasts a lot of jargony auto setup technology, which most projectors do, but I will say for what it's worth, the XGIMI does deliver on things like auto keystoning and intelligent obstacle avoidance. They do work. For ports, it's pretty bare bones. You've got a single HDMI in, a 3.5 audio out, USB 2.0, and the DC power connection. It also has a handy 1/4-20 thread on the bottom so you can connect it to any cheap mini tripod from Amazon. I happen to already have the XGIMI tripod, and it's nice as it frees a little extra real estate on your nightstand. Coming from an older XGIMI mini projector, the Z4 Aurora, a similar size and shape, the only thing I miss from that Z4 is the multiple HDMI ports. It's nice to be able to switch those inputs. The Elfin also has dual band Wi-Fi and Bluetooth if you want to toss the audio to a Bluetooth speaker or receiver. All right, on to performance. How does the Elfin handle content of all kinds? The short answer is it's a champ. You can, of course, use the built-in Android 10 TV running at 1080p, but as I mentioned earlier, hooking up a Roku or Chromecast, PS5, whatever, it's going to be the way to go. The bulk of my testing was done on a Gen 1 NVIDIA Shield running at 4K 60, and most everything at that resolution looks excellent. Even at the default settings with brightness and contrast at 50%, the colors were plenty rich, and black levels were really good as well. Stream content was beautiful in my room, which I have cut off completely from natural light because nothing harshes my vibe more than a sunrise when I'm trying to sleep, but it also works pretty well for this purpose. Now, I know in a lot of rooms in your home, total darkness may not be possible, especially in the middle of the day, so let's see what the Elfin looks like on default settings transitioning from light to dark. So as you can see, even in a fairly well-lit room, you're getting plenty of detail, and that only improves if you ramp up the brightness and contrast further. You can rock this during the day and be fine, but if your primary use case is going to be evenings or relatively dark spaces, you'll obviously have a better experience. As far as modes, you've got the fairly standard offerings of movie, football, which just means sports in motion, office, game, and then a custom option. And that's where you can set memory for things like brightness, color temp, saturation. Once you get the projector tweaked to your liking in these settings, you're probably going to want to use that custom tab. The Elfin does have HDR capability. To be honest, I found it a little aggressive, particularly when gaming. And speaking of gaming, what exactly does that mode do for you? Well, aside from motion smoothing and color adjustments, it has a boost variant within the mode that is meant to minimize latency, but that comes at the expense of image correction. So if you use the boost mode, you won't be able to adjust your screen size with digital zoom or keystone like you can in the other modes. I really only casually game in the bedroom on an Xbox Series S, and because I'm pretty lousy at competitive shooters to begin with, I can't speak to how gameplay was impacted by latency, but I didn't notice it too much. Definitely still blamed all of my losses on lag, though. I tend to find gaming on projectors a bit much from a sensory perspective, but you'll still have a good time with it if the Elfin is going to be your primary gaming option. In terms of extras, I told you the auto keystoning and intelligent obstacle avoidance work smoothly, and they really do. Even as I was moving the projector around quite a bit during the review and constantly resetting, it's really nice how quickly it repositions the image and lets me decide if I want to keep things like smoke detectors and sprinklers that are on my wall out of the image. If you plan on porting the XGIMI around for backyard movie nights, things of that nature, you can feel confident that setup's going to be fast and easy because of that pretty instantaneous image correction. The literature will tell you that image size for its rated brightness is capped at 150 inches, but you can go bigger without a steep drop-off if you feel the need. For reference, in this review, my image size was about 108 inches on a wall that is painted light gray and hasn't been treated in any other way. What about the sound? Well, those 6-watt Harman Kardons aren't going to exactly rattle your rib cage, but they also aren't shallow or tinny and pretty easily rise above the soft moan of the projector's fan. I still opted to use the 3.5 audio out, though, to run it through my 2.1 bedroom setup for a little more punch. So if you've stuck with us this long, you're probably guessing that I'm a fan of the XGIMI Elfin. Things that I love: it is plenty bright, nice accurate colors, it's got that easy button image correction that just works, gorgeous design that fits well in pretty much any room, and even if you're paying full price, I do think it's an excellent value. Things I love less: that single HDMI port, one more would have been really nice, and then those harsh HDR settings out of the box, you're going to have to play around with those a little bit to get them to your liking. Those are really my only gripes, which is why I recommend this projector for anyone looking for a small room friendly secondary viewing option, particularly if you can grab it on sale. Bringing us back full circle to why I call the XGIMI Elfin the best bedroom projector. You're thinking I was going to take that to a PG-13 place, weren't you? Sorry to disappoint. Thank you for checking out the vid. Likes and subscribes are appreciated, but no pressure on that front. Till the next time I turn the camera on, take care of yourself and the people you love.